Hi, I'm Alexander Green, Chief Investment Strategist of the Oxford Club. And today I want to tell you a remarkable true story. It involves a man named Stuart from Kansas. At first, there was nothing particularly interesting about Stuart's story. When he graduated from the University of Kansas, he went to work in his family's welding business. He had a fine career, enough to keep food on the table, but over the years, competitors began eating away at the company. Profits dwindled. And by 1980, the survival of the family business was in serious jeopardy. And this is where a rather normal American story suddenly turns into an extraordinary success story. You see, it was at this time that Stuart picked up a book titled The Money Masters by John Train. And the book detailed the investment strategies of some of the greatest investors of all time, men like Benjamin Graham and John Templeton and Warren Buffett. Stuart read the book, and inspired by what he read, he decided to make a purchase that would change his life forever. He bought 40 shares of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway at $265 a share. Today, with Berkshire trading at over $500,000 a share, those 40 shares alone are worth over $21 million. And that's just a fraction of Stuart's net worth. You see, he didn't stop at just 40 shares. A month later, Stuart bought 60 more, then another 200. Eventually, he bought over 5,800 shares, all for less than $500 a share. And Stuart's investment made him a billionaire. He's actually worth $2.8 billion. Now, his family's business and financial future were secured forever. He's now on the Forbes list as one of the richest people in the world, and the list is usually filled with entrepreneurs who spent decades building businesses, plus some who inherited fortunes. But there's Stuart, the welder from Kansas, right on the list, all because he did nothing more than buy one single stock. Now, why do I tell you this story? Because while investment professionals usually tell you that diversification and index funds are the path to a wealthy retirement, the truth is a modest investment in the right stock can provide you with all the wealth you need for the rest of your life. Now, many might say that Stuart got lucky and that finding that one great stock can't be done again. But here's what nobody really talks about. Tens of thousands of Americans have become millionaires thanks to just one stock. In fact, it happens all the time. I should know because I'm one of them. I've personally done it 3 times. I invested in Apple in 1996 and 97. I bought Netflix in 2005, and I bought Amazon in 2005 and 6. And I still hold every share of these stocks. Now, these were modest investments, but they changed my life forever. Amazon is up 7,600%. Netflix is up 26,000%. And Apple is up a stunning 102,000%, meaning every $100 turned into more than $100,000. That's the power that one single great stock can have in your portfolio. So I want you to think about this for a minute. Imagine buying one single stock in the next 3 hours and changing the trajectory of your family's future forever. It can happen, but the question is, how do you find the right stock? Now, if your goal is to be the next Stuart, to find one stock where just a few $1,000s turns into a fortune, how do you go about identifying the stock with the best chance to get us there? That's what I'm going to share with you today. You see, I found the next stock that I believe has just as much potential and perhaps more than Berkshire Hathaway or Apple or Netflix or Amazon. In fact, it could be even bigger than any of those when all is said and done. So why am I so confident? For one thing, it's involved in the most important new cutting-edge technology in the world. In fact, it may be involved in the most important new technology ever. We're talking about the entire history of mankind. But don't take my word for it. Google's CEO, for example, has said that this is the most profound technology humanity is working on, more profound than fire or electricity or anything we've done in the past. Bill Gates says this is the most revolutionary technology he has seen in decades, on par with computers, cell phones, and the internet. Mark Cuban even predicts that the world's first trillionaires are going to come from somebody who masters this technology. I'm talking, of course, about the sudden explosion in artificial intelligence, or AI. As Stanford professor and entrepreneur Steve Blank says, AI has just transformed every industry and every business. Every possible piece of commerce and enterprise is going to be reinvented in the next year. The company I'm going to tell you about today, I believe, will become the most important AI company in the world over the coming years. It's currently a small company with a market cap of less than $1 billion and a stock price under $10. That's just a bit smaller than the size of Apple in the mid-90s, before it went on to rise over 1,000 times in value. And this stock has every chance of being just as successful or even more so. Why? Because the company is in the process of developing a product that will help virtually every single person on the planet. The market they are targeting is worth approximately $12 trillion globally. It's more than double the size of the oil and gas industry. It's bigger than tech, telecommunications, food, commercial real estate, and more. The company is at the center of a technological advancement that has the chance to supercharge this $12 trillion industry in a way no one has ever seen, according to MIT's Technology Review. MIT says their version will be 1,000 times faster than current methods. Technology expert Peter Diamandis says this technology can accomplish with 50 people what the current industry can barely do with an army of 5,000. Jobs that used to take decades and cost over $10 billion will now be done in months and at a fraction of the cost. Like Bill Gates said, this AI space is just as big as, if not bigger than, computers, cell phones, and the internet. And for this one company, it could result in blockbuster earnings quarter after quarter. I'm expecting future sales and profits won't be in the tens of millions or even the hundreds of millions. We're looking at the potential for billions of dollars in future sales. In short, if you want to find that one winning stock, just like Stewart from Kansas, this company meets every metric you could want in a perfect stock. And most astonishing of all, it trades for less than $10 today. Why so cheap? Like the other stocks I've talked about, it's at the very beginning of a brand new industry. This is like investing in Apple at the start of the smartphone revolution, or Netflix when streaming first began, or Berkshire Hathaway when Warren Buffett revolutionized the approach to investing. The only problem is, very few Americans have any idea that this company even exists. I estimate that there's a less than 1 in 50,000 chance that you own the stock or have even considered owning it. But that is about to change in a big way. Some of the biggest power players in the world are targeting this stock for massive gains going forward. Bill Gates, for example, is putting his money where his mouth is. His foundation is loaded up with nearly 1.6 million shares of this company. SoftBank Group, one of the biggest tech investment firms in the world, went big with 5.6 million shares. BlackRock now owns at least 1.2 million shares. With the biggest, most powerful investors in the world moving in, I don't believe this company will remain unknown and inexpensive for long. So please stick with me for the next few minutes. I'm going to explain this company's technology to you in full. I'll show you how it's using cutting-edge AI to change the world forever. And I'll explain why I believe the company has the chance to be the #1 AI company in the next few years. As the story unfolds, people across America will be buzzing with excitement as they finally discover the astonishing upside potential and secret identity of this breakthrough company. But you could already be on your way to a dream retirement, all because you scooped up this obscure stock for less than $10 today. Now, before I give you the full details, let me start by addressing the most important question you're probably asking yourself right now. Why should you listen to me? So let me start by introducing myself. As I said, my name is Alexander Green, and I'm the Chief Investment Strategist at the Oxford Club. We're one of the oldest financial clubs in the nation with more than 187,000 members from all walks of life. Our members include accountants, doctors, PhD economists, teachers, scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs. And my mission is to help every member grow and protect their wealth. Now, normally we do this through a diversified mix of investment recommendations, and these have helped our members earn exceptional returns on their money. In fact, when comparing our average trade versus the S&P 500 from 1999 to November 2022, it beat the market by 158%. Now, keep in mind, 92% of active fund managers do not even beat the market. Yet our average trade has beaten the market for over 2 decades. However, today I'm going to reveal a dirty little secret of the investment world. The truth is, sometimes too much diversification is not a good idea. Now, I'm not saying that you should put all your money in one stock. I invest in a wide range of stocks myself. What I am saying is, when you find a single stock that's truly special, you can in fact retire on that one stock, even with a rather modest investment. As Warren Buffett points out, when you know the business, you understand it, the price is right, the people are right, then take your thumb out of your mouth and barrel in. Over the first 2 decades of the 2000s, I either personally bought or recommended 4 of the 6 best performing stocks in the entire market. In fact, during my time as the Chief Investment Strategist at the Oxford Club, we found a number of great stocks that could deliver life-altering gains. For example, back in January 2002, we published our annual forecast issue and highlighted an up-and-coming coffee company. You might have heard of it. It's called Starbucks. The company plans on opening thousands of more stores across the world in the years ahead, we wrote. Think McDonald's for coffee. Split adjusted, the company was just $5 back then. Today, it's around 1,800% higher. Later on, we recommended Celgene. It's a biotech that fights cancer. And here's just a piece of what we published. With Celgene, investors have a strange and wonderful opportunity. The company is a cutting-edge, new medicine firm. However, unlike just about any other medical innovator at this stage, Celgene's speculative new compound is already approved by the FDA, and the company is already profitable. One of our members invested $25,000 in Celgene, and here's a note he wrote to us. What I still hold is now up 2,440%. And that's having sold off my original $25,000 investment and $300,000 in profits. That $25,000 investment generated more than $800,000 in total, and I'm still holding a good chunk of it. But perhaps the most relevant example I can give is a company called Intuitive Surgical. Now, Intuitive reminds me more of the company I'm recommending today than any other. Back when it was trading for less than $25 a share in 2004, I wrote this. It holds a monopoly position in surgical robots, and as a result, sales and earnings are making a dramatic turn northward. Gross profits are a whopping 63.2% of sales, and recurring revenues are already more than doubling. Clearly, this is a stock with a great deal of upside potential. One of our members, Dave F., bought 1,000 shares with an investment of $25,000. Here's a screenshot of his buy after he saw my report. And here's the stock chart since Dave bought. It's a stock that's gone virtually straight up. Even if he didn't hold on for the entire ride, there was opportunity to capture some insane profits. It was one of the 5 best performing stocks in the entire market from 2000 to 2020, beating even Apple. Sean Connors is another member who made big money on Intuitive Surgical. In 2019, he said, I bought and sold it 5 times, and I made $1.2 million on the 5th time. From 2004 to 2019, Intuitive Surgical gained an incredible 6,000%. And he's using this money to create generational wealth for his family. He set it up so his grandkids will get what he calls some serious money once they turn 40 years old. That's what can happen if you buy the right stock. Just one can secure your family's future. Now, these are some of the best testimonials we've received from subscribers who took my recommendations and turned them into big wins for their families. Not every member hung on for the whole ride. Some surely sold along the way when we recommended taking profits. But the message is clear. If you want the true dream retirement and you're worried that you haven't saved enough, it's not all about diversification. It's about finding that one stock that's created a new cutting-edge technology or product that is now set to change the world. And today, I've found what I'm convinced is the next great breakthrough company. I've never seen a firm better suited to fund American investors' retirements. It's cheap, at less than $10 per share. It's virtually unknown to most investors. Sales could go to billions of dollars, and in the future, it could become the most valuable AI company in the world. I believe it is the #1 AI stock. It is also a medical technology company founded in England by a doctor in biophysics from the University of Oxford. And like Intuitive, this company is set to revolutionize medicine. The founder of the company spent a decade at Pfizer learning the inner workings of the pharmaceutical industry before coming up with a brilliant idea. What if he could use artificial intelligence to create more effective drugs with less side effects and bring them to market faster than ever? AI enables computers, robots, and other connected devices to mimic the perception, learning, problem solving, and even decision making of the human mind. And this allows computers to perform specific tasks with breathtaking speed and accuracy and without human intervention. And one area with unprecedented promise is using artificial intelligence to help scientists develop new drugs to treat diseases. In the past, developing a new drug was extremely time-consuming, expensive, and risky. 90% of all drugs, they fail in trials. It takes an average of 10 years to reach the market with a drug and costs between $2.5 and $12 billion to get there. Why is it so costly and difficult? MIT Technology Review says it's a system of trial and error. Scientists spend countless hours testing thousands of molecules, hoping that one will show some promise. But the problem is, there are so many possible molecules that scientists can only test a tiny fraction of the possible candidates. Consider this question posed by MIT. What fraction of these molecules have potential drug-like traits that can be used to develop life-saving drug treatments? Millions? Billions? Trillions? No, the answer is novum decillion. That's 10 followed by 60 zeros. A 1 with 60 zeros behind it. In other words, with our current process, scientists are leaving the vast majority of treatments on the table. Through trial and error, they are wasting billions and taking years to find anything remotely effective. Well, just like Intuitive Surgical completely disrupted surgery with its Da Vinci surgical robots, AI is changing the drug discovery process as we speak. As technology expert Dr. Peter Diamandis, whose work I read almost every day, puts it, what if we could generate novel molecules to target any disease overnight, ready for clinical trials? Imagine leveraging machine learning to accomplish with 50 people what the pharmaceutical industry can barely do with an army of 5,000. Welcome to the future of AI and low-cost, ultra-fast, and personalized drug discovery. In short, AI can now take massive data sets of potential molecules and then analyze them to find the ones most perfectly matched to fight a disease. And the speed and accuracy are breathtaking. According to one report in The Independent, MIT's artificial intelligence can identify effective drug possibilities 1,000 times faster than the traditional method. The Wall Street Journal reports that the time required for the early stages of drug discovery could shrink from years to months. They say the approach could not only boost the effectiveness of current drugs and drug candidates, but could also lead to never-before-seen molecules that could treat diseases like pancreatic cancer or ALS. These are diseases for which scientists haven't been able to find effective cures. MIT Technology Review reports that AI is dreaming up drugs that no one has ever seen. But AI could do the job ultra fast with pinpoint accuracy and at far less cost. As Hospital News confirms, this could reduce, in principle, the time between concept and coming to market of new drugs by years and decrease production costs by hundreds of millions of dollars. So you can see why Mark Cuban says the first trillionaire is going to come from somebody who masters AI. The profit potential, quite frankly, is off the charts. Instead of searching for a needle in a haystack, AI goes through huge data sets to find the best molecules to provide effective treatments at speeds we could not imagine previously. And there is one company in particular set to dominate this new AI approach to medicine. The company I'm telling you about today is the first AI platform to improve treatment outcomes for cancer patients. It is the inventor of the world's first AI-designed drugs to enter clinical trials. And this isn't just a dream for the future. The company is already saving lives now, like Paul, an 82-year-old cancer patient. Paul had a form of blood cancer that was aggressive and difficult to treat. He went through 6 rounds of chemotherapy. They tried an assortment of cancer drugs one by one, but with no luck. Much of this harmed Paul's healthy cells, and he became more and more frail. All 6 rounds of treatment failed. That's when doctors turned to the company I'm telling you about today. They used AI to analyze Paul's disease for the best possible available treatment. The system combed the data and shot out an answer, a drug doctors hadn't considered at all. And you know what? It worked. Within 2 years, Paul's cancer was completely gone. After that success story, the company moved forward with a scientific study. It tasked AI with coming up with treatment plans for dozens of cancer patients in which chemotherapy had already failed twice. The old way just didn't work for them. But using AI, this company was able to identify a drug that was effective for more than half of them. And keep in mind, this is only in the early stages of this technology. Moving forward, history tells us it will improve at an exponential rate, getting better and better every year. In fact, I believe it will completely revolutionize the entire pharmaceutical industry, and this one company is leading the charge. And as a result, the biggest companies in the world are lining up to work with them. For example, the French drug giant Sanofi entered into a $283 million partnership with the company a few years ago. But now they're going bigger. Sanofi recently agreed to pay the company up to $5.2 billion to develop 15 experimental oncology and immunology drugs. The company will receive $100 million upfront, as well as milestone payments from successful treatments. And that's just one of many projects in the works. The latest is a collaboration with Merck on 3 potential best-in-class drug targets. The deal could be worth up to $674 million. It also signed a major $1.2 billion partnership with Bristol Myers Squibb, one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world. The company has a partnership with Japan's huge pharma company, Sumitomo Pharma, And together, they brought an AI-designed drug to clinical trials in 1 year compared with the 5 it normally takes. The company is working with Rallybio, an American pharma company, on rare diseases, and yet another partnership with Aperon Therapeutics is developing a treatment for ovarian cancer. The president of Aperon had this to say about our company. It is clearly the leader in AI-driven drug discovery, and we have witnessed this firsthand in our collaboration so far. We have been incredibly impressed by the combined power of the AI design and use of patient data to optimize and select molecules that are more likely to give positive effects in the clinic. In short, the biggest pharma companies across the globe are lining up to get access to this company's patent-protected technology. As PharmaForum points out, this makes the company one of the most well-funded players in the AI discovery category. But listen, it's not just their partnerships with Big Pharma. The company itself is using AI to develop dozens upon dozens of treatments. For example, the company is working on new treatments for solid tumors, including ovarian and breast cancer tumors. It published clinical results in Cancer Discovery that highlight their first AI-supported platform to guide the treatment of patients with advanced blood cancer. It completed the acquisition of Allcyte, integrating that company's tissue platform into its own drug discovery operations. It launched its third collaboration worth $70 million with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to create a portfolio of up to 5 antiviral drugs. Its strong balance sheet is in a great position to fund AI-designed molecules going forward, and it has over $600 million in cash in the bank. It opened a 21,000 square foot expansion of facilities at the Oxford Science Park, expanding its capacity and efficiency for developing new AI drugs. And there's also a 26,000 square foot laboratory that will focus on the automation of chemistry and biology to accelerate drug discovery. It opened a new 50,000 square foot precision medicine center in Vienna, Austria. This is a pharma tech company that is setting up to become one of the biggest and most powerful pharma companies in the world. And for shareholders, that could spell massive profits. Putting a few dollars in a great medical stock can have a dramatic effect on your portfolio. Look at a company like Amgen. Thanks to its drug treatments for kidney disease, rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, and more, the company has seen its stock go from $1 in 1990 to over $260. A simple $10,000 investment would be worth $2.6 million today. Abbott Laboratories is another one. Thanks to products like Pedialyte, Similac, Ensure, Glucerna, and more, the company has seen its stock go up 200-fold since 1980. A $10,000 investment would have turned into more than $2 million. That's more than $49,000 in profit for each year you would have held it. But here's the thing. With biotech, it doesn't have to take nearly that long. For example, I gave a presentation on the company Tandem Diabetes Care in 2018. It had just developed a revolutionary new insulin delivery system, and at the time, its stock price was less than $4. But just 1 year later, it was over $74, a gain of more than 1,700% in less than a year. And here's what's truly incredible. Tandem's technology only targeted a small segment of the population with diabetes. What this new AI company is doing could alter the entire $12 trillion global healthcare system. We're talking about a bigger industry than tech or oil and gas or communications. That's why I believe this company could become one of the biggest and most powerful of all time. and it goes beyond developing pharmaceuticals. Scientists are using AI to do all kinds of amazing things right now. For example, one group of researchers has used AI to create new antibiotics capable of killing off bacteria found in hospitals that cause pneumonia, meningitis, and other serious infections. These infections are especially problematic for wounded soldiers. James Collins, professor of medical engineering and science at MIT, says, this finding further supports the premise that AI can significantly accelerate and expand our search for novel antibiotics. Scientific American just released a report showing that AI can be used to detect early signs of cancer and assess cardiovascular risk from a retinal scan. The Wall Street Journal writes that the same drug discovery technique can be applied to many industries. For example, it could be used to produce better enzymes for degrading plastics, treating wastewater, and cleaning up oil spills, among other environmental applications. With all the potential uses of this technology, the company I'm recommending now could become one of the most important companies in the world. It's that big an opportunity. But now is the time, as the stock is trading for less than $10. This is one of those Stuart from Kansas moments when buying just one stock could ultimately secure your financial future forever. And let me be clear about something important. I am not suggesting that you put all your retirement money into this one stock. There are no guarantees that this tiny stock will turn into the next legendary winner. It has that kind of potential, but there are always risks with investing. I never recommend that anyone invest more than they can afford to lose. And that's why what I'm recommending is that you put a modest amount of money in this stock and then sit back, leave it alone, and let it compound in value for years and years. That is how real fortunes are made. But in order to see the biggest return, it's key that you get in soon. Artificial intelligence is the kind of disruption we wait our whole careers for. If you miss AI changing the face of medicine, there's no going back for a redo. These kinds of disruptions happen once, and then they are gone. Because here's the thing, the stock may not be available cheap for long. One of the things that makes biotech so appealing is the number of catalysts they produce that can send their stocks soaring very fast. Immunogen is a great example of this. I recommended it to my subscribers on May 11th, 2023. The very next day, on May 12th, the company announced positive phase 3 data on an ovarian cancer drug. This wasn't even an FDA approval, yet in just 24 hours, the stock soared over 144%, making it the #1 performing stock in the entire market. A month later, it was up 230%. That's how fast biotechs can move when big catalysts hit. And catalysts can include the announcement of a partnership, the beginning of human trials, positive trial data, FDA approval, and much more. And what I love about the stock I'm telling you about today is it is set to make headline news over and over going forward. The company has drugs in their pipeline to treat head and neck cancers, colorectal cancer, and breast, ovarian, and pancreatic cancer. One of their AI-designed compounds just hit the clinical development stage, plus 2 more are coming in right behind. The company recently announced a brand new, potentially first ever, immunology and inflammation candidate in partnership with Bristol Myers Squibb. A month later, there was another announcement of a collaboration with the University of Medicine in Berlin to predict hematological cancers. As the chief executive and founder of the company says, their pipeline of wholly owned and partnered drug candidates is progressing rapidly. And as you can see, the number of upcoming catalysts is likely off the charts, which is why the biggest investors in the world are moving in quickly. The company has flown mostly under the radar until now. It's almost completely unknown to the general public. Trust me, I bet neither your broker nor anyone else has ever recommended this stock to you. And that's very good news for us, because when you can buy a truly great business while it's still unknown and cheap, that's when the gains can be truly spectacular. And that's what the most powerful investors in the world are doing now. BlackRock now owns at least 1.2 million shares. SoftBank Group, one of the biggest tech investment firms in the world, went big with 5.6 million shares. And as I mentioned, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation now owns 1.6 million shares of this company. And they believe in it so much, they are actually working with it to develop 5 antiviral drugs directly. They are leading a core group of more than a dozen mutual funds and trading houses that are betting big on this stock while it's still less than $10. And if you're looking for the right stock, the one that could change your life, like when Stewart bought Berkshire Hathaway, this is your chance. And you don't have to bet the farm on one single stock either. In fact, please don't do that. When you get in for just a few dollars per share, just a small sum can be game-changing. That's been my recipe for the biggest successes in my own portfolio. The truth is, on a few rare occasions in my life, I found a stock so innovative, so brilliant in concept, and with so much profit potential that I've bet on that single stock. And I'll never forget the day I saw one of those red envelopes, now gone, with Netflix written on it at a friend's house, and I was immediately curious. Keep in mind, this was more than 15 years ago. My friend was already a Netflix evangelist. He gushed about the online video rental company that delivered movies right to your doorstep and did not charge late fees. He was a rabid customer, but I decided I'd become something different, an early investor. It instantly clicked for me, and I immediately bought shares. I didn't put in that much, just over $5,000. After all, Netflix was still trading for a split-adjusted $2 back then. But today, with Netflix trading for over $400, I still hold every share. I've never sold, and I don't plan to anytime soon. Without bragging about exact figures, let's just say that stock alone is more than enough for me or anyone to retire on. The same thing happened for me with Amazon. Back in the early 2000s, the user interface and customer service on its e-commerce website were so good, I knew this was one of those companies that could fund an entire retirement all by itself. So I picked up a few shares while Amazon was still trading at around $35, and by the beginning of 2022, Amazon was trading at more than $3,500 per share before going through a 20-for-1 split. So my investment could pay for my kids' retirements. And before Amazon and Netflix, I first did it with Apple. Apple's products were truly groundbreaking. So in 1996 and 97, I picked up $5,700 worth at less than a split-adjusted 20 cents a share, and I still hold them today. When Apple hit a new high of $195, it was up more than 1,000-fold. And my investment may someday pay for my grandkids' retirements. But the point is, I've done well enough with my diversified portfolio, but my retirement could have been built on finding single stocks like Netflix, Amazon, and Apple. And I've also had big wins on other stocks like Costco and Boston Beer, and my success didn't require betting a fortune on any of these plays. In fact, I never recommend betting it all on one stock. Please understand that. That's not smart. I'm a big believer that modest investments in a few companies with great potential are the recipe for building wealth. Now, some might not work out, but the ones that do can change everything. And I believe the company I've told you about today represents one of those perfect stock moments. Its technology is set to completely revolutionize our world. Investors everywhere will soon be talking about this company. That's why the time is now. The stock is still available for less than $10, but soon you may have to pay a multiple of this price. And who knows how high it could go in the next 10 years? Will it go 17 times higher in a year, like Tandem Diabetes Care? Will it go over 19-fold higher over 15 years, like Celgene did before it was bought out for billions? Will it go 100 times higher over 20 years, like Intuitive Surgical? Only time will tell. But a few $1,000s in this one stock could be the investment that changes everything. Only those who move today will have the chance to enjoy the full ride. And that's why I'd like to send you my latest report right now, the #1 AI stock, how to retire on this obscure under $10 stock. If we were selling this report, it would be valued at $259. But I want to put the report in your hands today. And in it, I'll lay out everything I've uncovered in my in-depth investigation into this company. And I'll give you the full rundown of its rise to power and why I believe it will generate billions of dollars in revenue in the coming years. I'll discuss the multiple upcoming catalysts related to its drug trials, partnerships, new drug candidates, and more. And most importantly of all, I will give you the exact instructions on how to buy this stock for less than $10. And if you act quickly, you can get in for less than $10 right alongside the Wall Street pros who are currently loading up on shares. There are only two paths you can take moving forward. Take a position now while the stock is still inexpensive, and every time you see the company in the news, you can smile, knowing that your stock is likely moving up. Or ignore this opportunity, and every time you hear about the stock on CNBC, you'll cringe at how you missed out, again, on a single stock that could have helped pay for your retirement. Lots of people have found themselves face to face with opportunities like this, and those who recognized them came away totally changed. Whether it was Berkshire Hathaway, Apple, Netflix, Celgene, Starbucks, Intuitive Surgical, Tandem Diabetes Care, Immunogen, or any of the other stocks that I've mentioned today, finding that one great stock is the answer. But you have to get some skin in the game or you won't have a chance. And that's why I'm spreading the word to you today. I'd like to get my report, the #1 AI stock, how to retire on this obscure under $10 stock, into your hands right away. The stock is as good as any I've seen, and that includes Intuitive Surgical and Celgene. It could be the path to your dream retirement. The only question left to ask yourself is, what would you do if you had a multi-million-dollar portfolio? Would you live in the countryside like Dave, the Oxford Club member who bought Intuitive Surgical? Would you try your hand at writing a novel or get a beach house for family vacations? Give it away to your favorite charity, or finally just sit back and enjoy life without worrying about money. For me, knowing I have my retirement paid for makes everything sweeter. Taking my son out to play golf, playing a round of tennis with my wife, or traveling to see bands and musicians I've always admired. Life is just better without money hassles. And I believe our new AI stock will help you get to that worry-free life. All the details are in our special briefing, the #1 AI stock, how to retire on this obscure under $10 stock. I can tell you how to get it at the end of this presentation, but I'm not going to stop there. You see, this AI stock is one of the best I've ever uncovered, but I've seen others that have 1,000% potential. I call them 10-baggers, stocks with the potential to rise tenfold or more. Now, this can happen over the course of a decade, but in rare cases, it can even happen in a year, as it did with Tandem Diabetes Care. In order to help our members get the chance to lock in more 10-bagger stocks, I created a speculative model portfolio of stocks that are cheap and offer tremendous growth potential. When I first announced our model portfolio at a special members-only event in Stowe, Vermont, one of the first stocks I talked about was Applied Optoelectronics. Now at the time, it was trading for just over $11. And exactly 1 year later, it was up to $95. This is the type of stock I'm including in my 10 baggers of tomorrow portfolio. And I've outlined my strategy and the key characteristics to look for in my report, 10 baggers of tomorrow, the official portfolio guide. And I can have it in your hands as soon as this presentation is over. Plus, there's another model portfolio I want to give you access to, our Oxford All-Star portfolio. In our All-Star portfolio, we track the trades of the world's top investors and share them with you. Everything you need to know about our All-Star portfolio strategy is found in the report. And I want you to receive all 3 reports I've promised you so far of $497 value. But I don't want you to pay 1 cent for any of them. You can receive everything I've promised just by joining me in my monthly newsletter, the Oxford Communique. The Oxford Communique is a letter I put together to connect with wealth builders all over the country and the world who care about their families and recognize the true value of money, freedom. Money is the ability to quit working if you want to. It's the ability to live in a fully paid off home, in a safe community, to travel to see your family whenever you want, to help your children and grandchildren succeed, to start a business, to buy a second home at the beach. The reason to pursue greater wealth is to give yourself the freedom to do these things. And that's my sole goal when I write the latest edition of the Oxford Communique each month to help our members achieve true freedom by increasing their retirement wealth. And with each monthly issue of the Communique, I'll share all my insights on the economy, interest rates, business developments, and of course, my favorite stocks with the most upside potential. And I'll explain why revenues are booming. We'll watch company insiders to see if they're buying, and we'll track Wall Street money flows as they pour into certain stocks. And I want you to receive my Oxford Communique issues as part of everything I'm offering today. With more than 3 decades of experience as a research analyst, professional money manager, and one of the country's best-known financial writers, I can help you navigate whatever the markets throw at us in the weeks and months ahead. We've managed to avoid or mitigate nearly every major market downturn of the last 25 years. For instance, in February 2000, at the height of the dot-com craze, we sent out a special report to members warning, we're nearing the peak of the greatest speculative mania in all financial history. Stocks are at super stretch valuations, and their inevitable fall from grace will not be at all graceful. The NASDAQ peaked exactly 1 month later in March, and from there, over the next 2.5 years, the NASDAQ lost 78% of its values, but our members were safe. And in January of 2008, nearly 9 months before the financial crisis struck, we warned our members that the housing market is going through an adjustment like no one has seen in the past 100 years. Then in 2009, we called the exact bottom of the market, and I sent out a message to members that read, 2009 will be a terrible year for the economy, but shocking and surprising most investors, it should be an excellent year for the stock market. Well, the stock market went on to jump 65% between the market bottom in March and the year's end. And member Joe Martin of California wrote to tell us he made more than $1.3 million thanks to our market calls over the next 4 years alone. The bottom in 2008 was 1.4 million. Yesterday, I was at 2.7 million, he said. We've received many stories like this over the years from Oxford Communique subscribers. Here are just a few notes reflecting the best success stories at our organization. Started with $200,000 20 plus years ago, now at $3.5 million. Income is roughly $125,000 in dividends annually. That's David Mason. 31 recommendations and only one loss. I am 100% with you, Charles Benson. Reader for 10 years. I started with $150,000. Today I have $3.5 million despite all my personal and family expense. Pat Douglas. I started very small with $1,000. Now it's worth over $20,000 in 3 years, generating about $5K to $6K a year thus far. Liam Rogers. My portfolio has grown about 200-fold over decades. I can say the Oxford Club and Alex had a significant impact on my life, my best investment ever. Thank you, Erwin Upshaw. I love your service and wish I discovered it 20 years ago. That would have saved me $500,000, Sam Langston. Of course, not everyone is going to see such incredible gains or go on a rare streak of 30 wins out of 31. That type of performance is exceptional. And our members come from a wide range of financial backgrounds. Some are regular folks with only $10,000 or so to invest. Others are, frankly, multimillionaires. But no matter what your investing level, the key is taking control of your finances and growing that money now. And I have no doubt that the Oxford Communique and the principles that we follow will help you down that road today. In fact, we've even put together 3 resources to help you succeed. Our Multimillionaire's Handbook is loaded with secrets that can help you do just that. All told, we share 41 secrets in this book, and each one will help you keep more of your money and grow it faster too. The second bonus I have for you is a book I wrote for members, a New York Times bestseller. My book, Beyond Wealth, shows you how to live a richer life. And I'd like to send you a free copy of Beyond Wealth today. You'll see how to get it in just a moment. And I have one more bonus to add. I'd like to send you the video of my Millionaire Maker private sessions. This is a series I've recorded and delivered to the members of our Chairman Circle group, the highest level of membership within the Oxford Club. The series explains in detail how my strategies work, how I've succeeded in my career as an investment analyst, and how you can apply those principles to your retirement as well. The videos are in crystal clear, high definition, and I suggest watching them and then passing them along to friends, family members, co-workers, whomever you like. So that's 3 added bonuses today, valued at $349. And I want to send them all to you just for joining our organization. As I've told you, we are a financial club, and our newsletter's motto is great profits in the company of good friends. And our mission is to help you become wealthier in every aspect of your life. As soon as you join the Oxford Communique, you are a full member of our club with all the privileges that entails. You'll receive access to all of our model trading portfolios, including the Oxford Trading Portfolio, the Oxford All-Star Portfolio, and our 10 Baggers of Tomorrow portfolio. You'll get weekly model portfolio updates with key new information regarding each of our recommendations. Oxford Insight emails with behind-the-scenes intelligence from the Oxford Club team, as well as the Oxford Club's global network of associates. Reports like the Oxford Club Guide to Gold and 23 cash rebate programs hidden in the tax code. Password-protected access to the members-only website, newly designed with a more personalized approach for you. Personal invitations to our 5-star member events in beautiful locations like Whistler, British Columbia, where we held a recent private wealth seminar. Access to our Pillar 1 advisors, including experts in collectibles, real estate, tax law, insurance, and more. You'll also receive every one of the reports, books, and special bonuses I've lined up for you today, including the #1 AI stock, how to retire on this obscure under $10 stock, 10 Baggers of Tomorrow, the official portfolio guide, the All-Star Portfolio Strategy, the Multimillionaire's Handbook, Beyond Wealth, the roadmap to a rich life, and the high-definition video set of the Millionaire Maker private sessions. That's a set of free bonuses valued at $846. And yes, once you join the Oxford Communique, you'll have access to me. I've given investment advice to hundreds of thousands of people over my 35-year career. Many of our members have gone from beginner investors to multimillionaires. And it's by identifying great stocks like the ones I've talked about today. I believe the under $10 AI stock I've described will be the next big winner in the Oxford Club's Hall of Fame. The company is set to become one of the most profitable in the world. The number of drugs in development and giant partnerships is off the charts. If there was ever a chance to retire on just one stock, I truly believe that this is it. And I don't want anything holding you back, which is why I'm going to give you the chance to join me with the Oxford Communique at the lowest price possible today. Clients paid millions of dollars to receive my advice when I worked on Wall Street. Many consider it the best money they ever spent, but I gave all that up. Investment bankers and stockbrokers have too many conflicts of interest. And once I made my retirement by identifying just a few true breakout stocks, I didn't need to work on Wall Street anymore. And that's why we charge so little for the Oxford Communique, just $249 for a full year. It's as good a deal as there is in the investment world. After all, we're crushing the performance of hedge funds that charge clients tens of thousands of dollars a year. Consider Ted Glennon, who was once in your shoes, deciding whether to join the Communique. He made his money back and then some within his first 2 weeks. Ted was blown away after banking $1,020, a 29% gain, on Harvest Energy Trust, his very first trade. But having said all that, again, I want everyone to have a chance to share in our success. So to make this as easy a decision as possible for you, here's what my publisher has decided to do. I want to give you a risk-free subscription to the Oxford Communique today for just $49, our absolute lowest price. And here's the final kicker. I'm going to back all this up with a 365-day, 100% money-back guarantee. You'll have 12 months to use and review everything I've talked about today. You'll see how the new AI stock performs. You can track my 10 baggers of tomorrow portfolio. You can use any of the dozens of secrets in the Multimillionaire's Handbook. No matter how much you make in profits, here is my promise to you. You can call us up at any time and for any reason over the next year, and we will give you a full 100% refund of your money, no matter what. Plus, you get to keep every single thing you receive today. It's a bold promise, but that's how confident we are. I have to say, I can't imagine how I could have made this offer any better. This AI stock is without a doubt the best I've seen in my career. It has more potential even than Netflix, Apple, Intuitive Surgical, and Celgene. It's revolutionizing a $12 trillion industry, bigger than tech, oil and gas, communications, and more. It's set to bring down the time needed to create new life-saving treatments from years to months. It's set to bring down the costs from billions to millions. As MIT reports, this technology could generate effective drugs 1,000 times faster than previous methods. And, best of all, the company is going to save the lives of people like Paul, who had to go through 6 rounds of chemo before AI found a treatment that worked. I believe it's the single most important stock you can own today. But one last word of warning, the company is loaded with headline-making catalysts. I believe it's going to be in the news regularly going forward. The biggest investors in the world are loading up in anticipation, and you should too. I'll be tracking it and keeping you posted on every new development, and you'll enjoy the ride all the way through. I sincerely hope you take advantage of this opportunity now, today. I've heard so many success stories from people who have joined us, and like the recent one we received from Benjamin McCormick that said, "This has been the most fun an old man has had and very profitable. You have the best organization I have ever known. Thanks for being there for me." Your success story could be next. We've seen how investing early in a company can create millionaires. I think it's that big a story, though nothing is guaranteed in the markets. And again, if this turns out like Intuitive Surgical, it can end up being one of the great success stories of the coming AI revolution that will dominate the next 10 years in stocks. The opportunity to help build a retirement on one stock doesn't come often. For me, it took some guts to pull the trigger on Netflix when most people had never heard of it. But I bought the stock, and it was one of the great investment decisions of my life. And I look forward to helping you see the chance to achieve the same experience. For those watching at home, just click on the big "Yes, I want the details" on the #1 AI stock button below. I look forward to you joining our team and achieving your own Stuart from Kansas moment. Thank you for your time, and congratulations. Welcome to the club.